Are you frustrated with expert advice that you are pretty sure won't actually work? I'm Jamie Dana from Elevate Counseling, and I wanted to take a minute to talk about a follow-up question that I got last week when I was a guest presenter on a workshop which focused on helping people change for the better with their healthy eating habits. So the topic that we were talking about was stress eating and how do we limit stress eating. And there were several people in the group that were going through very similar issues where this is a very real problem for them. And this was unsurprising to me because this is an issue that many of us as Americans face. And this can be the case for lots of reasons. Partly it's the environment that we live in. We have access all of the time to highly palatable, good tasting foods. And also we are under chronic, constant stress. We often find ourselves in positions like that that lead to some of these kinds of behaviors. But that's another topic. So one of the women, she says that she would grab chocolate chips when she was feeling stressed out. And she said, I know that this slows me down in my progress towards reaching my goals of healthy eating and weight loss. But in those moments, I just don't care. I do it anyways. And so, first, I empathize. I think this is an issue that most of us can relate to. And so we talked about ways that she could slow herself down in those moments and ask herself what she really needs. What is food trying to replace in those situations or fix for her? And so these could be things like providing comfort or reward or happiness. And then we also talked about some physical changes to her environment that she could make that would make it less likely for her to eat chocolate chips. So I suggested that she didn't keep chocolate chips in the house. And her, maybe a little bit frustrated response was, okay, but if I want chocolate chips, then I will leave the house and I will drive to the store and I will get chocolate chips. So here's the thing. The purpose of removing the chocolate chips is not to make it so that you never eat chocolate chips when you're having an emotional meltdown. There's no system, there's no intervention, no strategy that is going to work 100% of the time. There's no magic pills or secrets to stop irrational behaviors. When you're at an 8 out of 10 on that stressed or emotional scale, then you're not thinking, rationally at that moment, right? So the purpose of removing the chocolate chips is so that you're not eating them when you're bored or when you're walking, by the pantry or you're getting your kids cereal or lunch or something like that. Or even when you're at a 6 out of 10 and you're still able to think rationally enough to make a different decision. The purpose of removing the chocolate chips is to make it so that it really requires effort to get to the chocolate chips. And this is because we as humans, we take the path of least resistance. We tend to make choices by default. We see this happen with behavioral psychology. For example, automatic renewals for subscriptions, right? Like it takes more work to cancel them. And unless you are feeling, like maybe the pinch of the price, or you're super, super organized, these things often go unchecked because it requires more effort to do differently. So my challenge to you, if you're feeling frustrated like this woman, is to mark down how often an unwanted behavior happens by default right now. And then change the environment. This is also referred to in psychology terms as changing the antecedents. And then after you do that, watch and see how often that behavior happens at that point. And then you can also incorporate healthier habits. This will just get you further down that road to success. So the goal is always to reduce, the chocolate chip binges rather than 100% eradicate them, right? Sometimes you may try these things and you may realize that you need additional support. So, maybe you've been under a lot of stress or you've experienced something in life that makes it more difficult to cope. You're at that 8 out of 10 more often. And in that case, you might need some professional help with someone who can help you to be able to move through those experiences using specific therapies on top of the environmental changes. So I hope I helped this woman in my conversation. I'm excited to hear how she's doing in a couple weeks' time. And if this resonates with you as well, I would love to hear what you have to say. For more on this topic, follow my Facebook page where I post tips and tricks to support your mental health. And until next time, keep doing, keep being, and keep growing.